Good Saturday morning, neighbors. Pollution. Pollution in the environment. Uh, I poke at the nuclear industry, and that is one nuclear industry. You can divide them up and talk about them separately, but they are so interleaved. It's wrong to do that. They need each other. It is a part of the sciences, the technology, the engineering, in a massively expensive world to operate. So when you take those jobs in those plants, you sacrifice you just join the military. You lose any right to express an opinion because your opinion becomes hurt feelings somewhere. So you go about your work. Anyway, pollution. I need to frame this up, and just how subtle it is. I'm going to go back to the 80s, getting hired in during the startup and commissioning of a plastic production facility. It's actually a precursor type of plastic. So the reason I was selected over many other qualified resumes is an extensive instrumentation background and familiarity with a line of equipment from Digital Equipment, DEC. There's a fascinating background to DEC, but pollution. So this brand new shiny chemical plant, we're talking, it's actually two plants. It's one facility called, at that time, Tenus Chemicals, right next to a Tenneco plant that made plastic. This is all settled. This is just life. You accept a reasonable job. You figure you'll be in a neighborhood for a while, and you can build whatever you build when you have a home and a mortgage. And so part of that plant, hiring into that plant, you begin to learn about the rest of the world that this plant is in. You get papers out of noted chemistry industry articles about a world-class facility being commissioned and started up. And you look back, and this plant is replacing a plant overseas that had 300 to 600 operators per shift to make this product, this precursor plastic for the other plastics out there. That's why plastics are so complicated, why there's, 5, 6 different labels on plastic. So, anyway, a part of the hiring process into this plant, this facility, this not small corporate interest, third of the world's plastic precursor materials. The world's. You can find it. So you have a lung capacity test along with a physical exam, drug testing, and all the things that go along with that. But you had a lung capacity test, something you'd never seen before. Maybe you haven't even heard of it as part of a job or an employer requirement. And you get these tests every year, once a year. Now that's subtle. That's subtle. You're in a dangerous industry anyway. But one of the primary reasons for that is the facility next to you. This was Tenus Chemicals, Tenneco U.S. Steel, 2 plants, one name, right next to a Tenneco-owned facility. And that facility had a problem with outgassing plastic from the facility. Now, this isn't a little plastic dribble on the floor. This is plastic as a gas, as a vapor, as a in the air, as a plume. And the way you prove that it happened was you come out to your car the next morning, and it's coated in a sheet of plastic. And there's a company that's hired to help clean your car off, courtesy of how it happened. So this is, I kind of laughed at this story. But you're conscious of this now. You know that this happens. It's there. It's a risk from that other facility on the other side of the parking lot. This is a chemical engineer. Uh, Instrumentation and controls. The day of a system called Rexnord Automation D2, D3 control systems. Those have faded, those have gone. That EMC controls interest in there is interesting. But that's pollution. Pollution is learning that the engineers that you worked with, chemical engineers, have passed too soon. So you pick these things up through time. You realize that the proximity to pollution increases your risk. You pay attention when in safety training you learn where all of the Scott air packs are in a facility and how far the next air pack is from the last one that you just finished using up, which direction to run. These are the nuances. This is a situational awareness element. So, pollution. That would be an instance of local pollution. You can find that in very old Houston newspapers, probably. I don't know if you would hear of it now. I hope it doesn't happen anymore. Pollution. Still trying to figure it out.